welcome to the Always More Nerd, where we take a break from the infinite possibilities to talk about the news, reviews, and previews of all things comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and anything deemed nerdy. Today on the pod, we are talking about the Ahsoka trailer, Last of Us review, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Ancient Jedi, and so much more. But first, joining us from the land of Mystic Cold, and I believe in the machine, what does it call it? The Machine City? No, Car City? Motor City? Something along those lines. That is our friend Justin. What is it called?
Yeah, that would be Motor City.
It was one of those things. I was on the right track.
It's got a
Yeah. Detroit hotels, all the fun places to record.
Yes. This is the second time in Detroit since we've done this.
Yeah, the last episode, I think I was in this same hotel.
Wow.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, cool. And sitting next to me as he speaks is my friend who... I don't have an insult for you today, so I'm just going to say my friend Jordan.
Yes.
Wasn't
Nothing
prepared.
to say.
Wait. No, sorry. We could say
No.
Jordan, who still hasn't watched The Last of Us.
Justin, where are you at on The Last of Us? Actually,
I've
where are
made no
you
progress
at?
since the last
Where
episode.
are you at on the Snyder Cut?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
The man brings a point.
I'm only 3 episodes deep.
That should
I've
be
been
the top of
traveling
your
a lot
list.
for work. I've been busy.
That should be the top of your list.
The Last of Us?
No. Snyder
Well,
Cut.
I don't know.
Oh, the Snyder
Snyder
Cut?
Cut?
Nah, it's
Yeah.
off my list.
It's okay.
Jeez.
Snyder's dead to me.
Jeez.
Oh, man. So many things.
Jeez.
Guys, are you ready to just dive into this thing? Because
Let's
we
get
got ourselves a show today.
Yeah, we
so
do.
many things, so many opinions that we're going to have today. I can feel it coming.
Oh, especially that last point. Oh, yeah.
So let's just break the news here, okay? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Jonathan Majors. I'm not going to go into everything that has come out. You can use Google yourself. However, long story short, an incident happened where he got arrested, if I'm not mistaken, and then he got released, and then some stuff came out to where he's essentially been deemed as abusive. His lawyers said no, but then he got dropped by his agency and different ads and different companies, and so it looks like Jonathan Majors is he's not going to be finding future employment anytime soon in the entertainment business. That's what I'm hearing here, which brings us to an interesting segment that maybe we can make a game out of who can replace Jonathan Majors, because Marvel won't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Desmond. You guys watch Snowfall?
No.
Okay, he's the guy from Snowfall. I don't know what else he's been in, but he's just very intense. He was a drug dealer on the show that, was crazy. I just think he would be great.
Justin,
That's my pick.
what do you think, Justin? You think? Well, here's even a deeper question.
I
Well,
hate it, though. I hate it.
because they have to replace him, right?
Yeah.
You can't build this whole Kang dynasty, this
Oh,
whole
King.
saga around him and then just drop him. Like, I doubt that they would just totally dismiss it. They got to bring someone else in, even if they call him a different variant or whatever, and make him look different, which would not make sense depending on how you look at Ant-Man and Quantumania. It just, they got to recast him, right?
Hey, I will say that the fact that that version of King died at the end is helpful.
That's
So
true.
I don't know how Loki's going to play out since
Yeah.
that's already filmed with another
Oh,
King.
yeah, I forgot
That's
about that.
very true.
But
yeah.
hear me out. John Boyega.
Oh, that's a good pick. My pick was, what's his name? Washington. John David. Is it John David Washington?
John David, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be a good one, too.
But John Boyega, dude. I don't know if he was going to come around Disney, though. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
Like, Boyega, I don't know if he would.
But this is a character that is promising.
No, no doubt.
Yeah, so maybe he would. I don't know.
Good pick. Okay, out of the three, if you couldn't choose yours, who would you choose? So for you, Boyega or
Boyega.
Washington?
Boyega.
I would do the same.
Yeah.
So I think Boyega, he definitely has the vibe for it.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
Sucky situation, bro.
It is.
I love him so
what
much.
even sucks even more is like of the, what are we now in year, because Iron Man came out in 2008. So we're in, 10 plus years, 13 years, what is that? That's 15 years of Marvel.
Yep.
We haven't had, other than, the Don Cheadle and what was the actress's
Terrence
name?
Howard.
Yeah,
Terrence Howard,
that whole thing, which wasn't that big of a deal, but you know,
Yeah.
it was a little small thing. Since that, we haven't had any super big celebrity controversy in the MCU. Like other than like the
Yes.
whole that and when what's her face? Scarlett Johansson had some, you know, scruffles with Marvel, but they figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say Edward Norton getting recast with Mark Ruffalo was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but that's at the beginning though. And like,
Yeah.
you know, it's Edward
It's a
Norton.
restart. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like you said, it's disappointing
Yeah.
and you know, it is what it is, I guess.
It's the jokes on like TikTok have been so bad. The memes, they're like they're talking about that ending scene with all the Council of Kang, and how all of them were in the room. They were like, somebody's really gonna have to go VFX somebody else's face when this
Somewhere
goes
in
on
there.
Disney Plus. And I was like, yo,
Oh my god.
I was like, this is terrible.
Oh,
But yes, I just sucks.
Okay.
I was so bought into that character, and him
I know.
playing as him was just.
I mean, he's a phenomenal actor, like no
Right.
matter what.
Yeah.
But the odds are not in his favor.
No.
not at
Bro.
all.
No, if there's anything that Kevin Feige does not want, it's this kind of publicity. So,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, I mean, but Marvel's been pretty quiet. They're just kind of waiting and not
Mhm.
jumping the gun.
yeah,
No pun intended. After
Yes.
James Gunn.
they probably really are waiting for like. Well, that's the thing though. It's like they're going to have to at some point make a decision because there's no way they're going to wait till after any kind of trial or anything like that. There's just no way.
Oh, I'm sure that they're already putting stuff in motion behind the scenes. They're just not going to say anything public.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. All right. Well, with that finished, we really only have one other big news segment thing, which, by the way, I didn't introduce. This is the news segment, and that is Star Wars Celebration. It covers a whole bunch of things. So those are the two things that we decided to cover today. Star Wars Celebration just happened a couple weeks ago for us, and there's a whole lot of things that we could cover. So we're gonna brush through some of these pretty quickly, and some of them we're gonna get into more detail. First off, Star Wars Visions Volume 2. Did you guys watch Volume 1?
No.
I forgot about Volume
Yeah.
1, and I
Forgot it
am upset
existed.
that I did,
Yeah.
and I am going to watch it as soon as I am in a place with reliable internet, which is not here.
It's solid, man. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's almost refreshing to be able to watch something and go, you know what, this is not going to have any effect on canon. I don't have to remember this. I don't have to remember all the names and the details. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the type of
How many
art that's coming into.
episodes?
Is it 6 or 8?
Okay.
I can't
I'll check
remember.
it out.
I could be lying to you. But yeah, so Volume 2 is coming out, and just Google yourself. It looks really great. All the different animations and the styles that come in. It's really refreshing to see. Next up, another short series that came out before, Tales of the Jedi. I really enjoyed Tales of the Jedi. I loved seeing Dooku as a younger Jedi master with his apprentice Qui-Gon. Truly, absolutely loved it. Ahsoka was nice and fine, but man, Dooku really, man, that made me really excited.
I will say the Ahsoka episode, which a lot of people don't necessarily know because it wasn't explicitly stated, that Inquisitor who she killed, that's where she got the kyber crystals for her current lightsaber.
Oh, my friend, you just blew my mind. That was such a
Maybe I'd have to
badass
test
scene,
it.
though. I will say that scene was just perfect. I did like that. Interesting.
I still need to watch that too.
You gotta watch all the things.
I got
Look,
a list.
I will say
so
this,
good.
Justin. You've seen Rebels, right?
Oh yeah, I'm actually about to watch it again.
I know this guy hasn't.
a little bit, a few episodes.
If you need to,
Yes.
especially with Ahsoka coming out.
Yes.
Before Ahsoka, you gotta watch all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, my friends listening to us, my friends who choose to listen to the nerd episodes, if you have not watched Star Wars Rebels and you want to watch Ahsoka, we highly recommend that you watch Star Wars Rebels. And if I remember correctly, Filoni actually only suggested like past season 3 or 4.
Okay.
So I can't remember. I gotta find that interview. Like he mentioned in interviews, like, yeah, we'll probably just kind of focus on this point afterwards. So, which makes sense if you know the show. But that's when Thrawn comes in and everything.
Cool.
Season 3, I think. So
Add it to the list.
yeah,
Heavy list.
heavy list. Next up, Andor season 2. guys, I don't. Did we talk about it? Yeah, we talked about Andor.
You
Yeah,
guys,
we talked
you
talked
guys
about
did.
it. We
Yes.
talked about it.
Well, literally one of the best shows of 2022 by far. Just not even being Star Wars, just itself was a great, well-made show. Season 2, I'm excited. It looks just as interesting. It looks just as entertaining. The directors and the writers just did a phenomenal job in season 1. So I don't have much else to say other than I'm just super excited about this. What do you guys think?
Retweet what you just said because I still need to watch it. I'm 2 episodes in that.
You guys are killing me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fly
Justin,
down to Texas, and I'm gonna fight
Justin,
you.
you're right there with me.
I'm gonna start giving you homework, man. Both of
Wait,
you
how
guys.
am I right there with you?
There's plenty of things that you haven't watched yet.
But they're not as important as Andor.
Okay.
Andor is pretty
Valid,
high up there.
valid,
I'll give him
valid.
that. All right. That being
I
said,
got the important stuff out of the way. Andor, come on. I haven't watched the Snyder Cut. Who cares? But Andor, it was the best TV show of 2022.
yeah, it was solid. It was solid. All right.
It wasn't just solid. It was Vikings.
I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch it today.
You should.
I'm just
You should.
gonna
Let us know.
Pull it all nighter. I'm gonna text you guys at 3 a.m. Be like, hey guys, this was great.
You could, man. It's that good. All right.
This is great.
I might still be awake.
All right. Moving forward, we got a few more shows. I'm gonna skip the one that I have in the notes. Next up, Bad Batch season 3. Guys, here's what I'll say about season. Well, no, I won't say anything about season 2 because we're gonna discuss that in the reviews. Season 3 has been announced to be the last season of the Bad Batch, which makes perfect sense, given where it's gone and everything. I mean, Dave Filoni. I mean, even if you don't like season 2 as much as you did season 1, it's still Star Wars. It's still fun and entertaining. I am interested to see how it possibly could tie into other, even Ahsoka. I could see it somehow tying in season 3. I don't know yet. There's just pure hope and speculation. But given what they have, I could see it happening. So any thoughts about season? I mean, you haven't watched season 2. You haven't. None of you guys have watched season 2, right?
No.
No, I
Join
am
the club.
Unfortunately, behind.
That's okay.
Join
That's
the
all right.
club.
But anyway, season 3 has been announced. It looks good. I'm excited for it. But let's get to some of the bigger hitting news of Star Wars Celebration. The first one was they showed the Ahsoka trailer, which, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, was just as beautiful as I thought it was gonna be.
Yep.
I mean,
cannot wait for that show.
as someone who has seen all of Star Wars, Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, it brings so much joy to me because this character genuinely probably is my second favorite character in all of Star Wars. But to see these characters from Rebels come in and to see, I know what was the director's name? What's her name? It's gonna bother me that I didn't write it. But just to see the creative people coming in to do it, I know it's gonna be fantastic. And then we had these amazing actors and actresses. You got Natasha Bordizzo as Sabine Wren. You got Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera Syndulla. Emin, I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. Emin Esfandi as Ezra Bridger, and Lars Mikkelsen, which was the big announcement, as Thrawn. Because you had actors like, of course, Ahsoka, who's not played by her voice actor in Rebels, played by Rosie Dawson.
Yeah.
So it was kind of up for air because we weren't sure because like Sabine Wren is obviously not the same, but we have the man himself who voiced Thrawn in the show as the live action Thrawn. What are we feeling? What are we expecting? What are we on a scale of 1 to a billion? How excited are we? Because I'm about 1 trillion.
I was gonna say a trillion. Yeah. 1 trillion. I like that they didn't switch that up. Like, just they know what they're doing, giving us what we want.
Yeah.
You know, which they usually do. For
Just
the most part.
Not just giving us what we want, but giving us what we need.
What we
come on.
need.
No. So one of the things that Filoni had said was that he consulted with Timothy Zahn, who is the guy who created Thrawn
Right.
in the original Thrawn trilogy in the old Star Wars canon, and he wrote actually 2 Thrawn trilogies for the new canon,
Oh, I didn't know that.
expanding on his backstory quite a bit, and then his time with Empire, and definitely makes his character. Old Thrawn was more of a villain in the new canon. Thrawn is more complicated.
Yeah.
His motivations are working with the Empire because he believes the Empire is the best way to counter a threat known as the Grisk from the Outer Rim, who threaten his people's empire.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, is this the part where there is a history with Vader, this new canon? Because I think I remember seeing that
Yes.
somewhere. Okay.
Yes, there's a history with Vader and a history with Anakin.
Yes.
And he figures out that Vader is Anakin.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, with Thrawn having written all of that backstory and them working with him, you're going to get some consistency across the mediums as far as the character.
Yeah, yeah.
And Filoni wrote every single episode of Ahsoka. I saw it.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be
so that
good.
means
Yeah.
you're not going to have inconsistency across portrayals
Thank God.
from Ahsoka and,
Yeah.
and Hera and Sabine and Thrawn, Ezra. If Ezra's even really here more. Is it going to be a Luke at the end of
Probably, yeah.
the Force Awakens
Well,
kind of deal?
I don't know, man. They could really throw us out because especially the way that Rebels ends, like they really leave you hanging. Like spoiler alert, Ezra, like he goes off into the abyss, and you just it is truly a cliffhanger at the series finale of Rebels. So I don't know, man. They might Filoni might give us a bone with Ezra, like maybe introduce him halfway through, and they have to take down Thrawn again or something. But then again, I don't know what. Given the news that we're going to mention in just a second, I don't know if they'll have an Ahsoka season 2 or not. If they do, then I could see how Ezra, you're right, doesn't come until the end.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows?
It's just gonna be good.
It's going to be good.
It's gonna be
I'm
great.
excited. That comes out, was it April or August? Fall next year? Or this year, I mean.
Scared me when you said
yeah.
next year.
No.
August.
And, no, of course, and guys, we have forgotten about probably the most beloved character in all of Star Wars, and that is the droid. What is oh god, I forgot his name.
Which droid?
Why did I forget his name? I feel so bad. Chopper. Guys, Chopper.
Chopper.
He's gonna be great. And then in the last part of the Star Wars celebration, as we wrap up the news segment, they announced 3 movies in the Star Wars universe, the galaxy. The first one is just actually the one that I'm probably most excited about, to be honest. James Mangold, he's going to be directing this Star Wars film based on the dawn of the Jedi, set 25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. It is going to be essentially a story about the first Jedi. And the first, as what if you know through the comics and the stories, it's the Jedi, it's like a parentheses. It's like 2 words, but in one. But it's a weird thing. But it's truly how the first Force users became, like using the good side of the Force, the light side of the Force for good, which is just wild to me that they're. It's wild to me that this is not a trilogy or something, and that they're just randomly introducing this right now. Yeah. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm down for it.
Just give it everything, because I was shocked to hear that. Like, and I saw I don't know if somebody drew it up or if it was like concept art, but that they showed. But the stuff that I have seen, it just looks great. Sounds great.
Justin, have you read any of the comics or any of the old stuff from like the origins of Jedi and everything?
Not any of the canon stuff, only past legend stuff.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, next up, which really just is the icing, the cherry on the top. It is Dave Filoni. He is directing his first movie, and it's essentially going to be a accumulation of everything that we've seen on Disney Plus with Ahsoka, Mando, Boba Fett. It's going to be a New Republic movie. It's going to include, or at least be around, those characters and those stories. And it's going to be basically a finale, if I understand it correctly, a finale to all of these stories.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know what to say to this. I'm especially where we see Ahsoka goes. If Ahsoka has a season 2 and it builds up to this movie, then I imagine it's going to be like a Thrawn showdown thing. That's what I'm expecting here. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm expecting here. Because even if you watch Mando season 3, you can kind of sense there's
They're
some
hinting.
yeah,
they're
there's some
definitely
stuff coming
hinting
at the end there. Boba
Mhm.
Fett's a little bit more out there, but
Yeah.
it's not too far of a fetch to believe that Thrawn could be the kind of like the guy who's trying to come to power, and even though they stop him, obviously they're not going to stop the First Order.
Right.
So, what are you guys thinking?
I thought that this would all. I think it's cool that it's not all going to end on Disney Plus, and they decided to make that a movie. That's just
It's true.
That's like I said, giving it.
Give me
Yeah,
what we
like
want.
Justin said, giving us what we need.
Give us what we need.
Side note, and I know we might talk about Mando a little bit, but I do like how they're starting to connect the thing to sequel trilogy,
Yes.
like what we saw in Mando. My favorite part was, Dom Gleason's character from the sequel trilogy. Was it General Hux? His brother
Oh yeah.
was in that episode of Mando and played Hux's father, which was like a nice little cameo.
Yeah, dude, that was they don't fail on the small cameos and the things that you don't think matter that much, but when you really just take a minute to look at it, it's like these details that they truly do care about and look into. It truly is it's just phenomenal. It's great.
Consistently phenomenal. Yeah.
All right, and then the last bit of news, which was probably the most surprising, I would say, of all three of these, and probably the most controversial, depending on where you're sitting in all this. It's a film by Charmin. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Obaid
Chinoy.
They are a Academy Award-winning, International Emmy Award-winning director and journalist. And they will be the first person of color and the first woman to direct a Star Wars film, which is amazing and incredible. And they are going to be directing a Star Wars film set a few years after The Rise of Skywalker, focusing around the one and only Daisy Ridley as Rey, as she builds the new Jedi Order. My friends, if John Boyega is not back in this as well, then I call bullshit.
I don't think he's coming.
Hear me out. I love Rey, and I will love this movie as it is. But my God, we need Jedi Finn. That's what we need here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say.
I just hope they got the story right this time. Let's do it a fourth time. Let's make it great. Let's just please make it great.
4 times a charm.
Yeah, fourth time's a charm. I hope
actually
there's
feel
some
good
story.
about this. I think that after the success of the Mandoverse, as people are calling it, I think that we will see, and just like having Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy working really well, we're going to see less interference from
It's true.
the corporate side and more freedom, probably like Kevin Feige given, because it's like, oh, you're doing things and they're working, so just keep doing that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably see more of that freedom given to not have, and like more planning, because Filoni loves
Yes.
his planning, which I don't know how much he's involved in all of that, but I think that they've been moving in a much better direction than they were moving when they first just did the sequel trilogy.
That's true. It was very rushed.
Yes.
But also, as for Finn, I don't know if John Boyega will come back.
He probably
considering
won't,
it's
but
this-
Yeah.
doesn't mean I won't throw a
But
fit.
even
Yeah.
if Finn was in the movie, I don't think Finn would be a Jedi.
Don't say that, man.
No.
What do
I
you think
think
he would
Finn-
do? Just run around,
no.
scream Ray the whole time,
Don't do
like
that to
last
me.
time? What's he gonna
Yes.
do?
Yes.
Ray! I was watching those movies, like I literally, because like once that happened and the whole like, when Star Wars news comes out, you just want to watch all of them. That's what I've been doing. And I watched that trilogy, and I was like, yo, this man is just like literally screaming around, like running around. Ray! Ray! Where's Ray? Ray! I'm just like, man, I just hope it's good.
I agree with your point, Justin.
Yeah,
I think
I do
because
too.
it is a standalone, as long as they don't turn this into a trilogy, which I mean, depending on how good it is, but as long as it's well planned out and thought of, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have too much interference on the outside, I think we should be good. but they definitely have to learn from their lesson from the last trilogy.
Mhm.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
Star Wars,
sure.
and I still love it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been such a mess if they had planned out better.
Mhm.
So as long as they take their time with this and everything goes well, I mean, Daisy is back on board, so I mean that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Um,
I like Daisy. She's cool.
yeah. So I'm all for it.
A new order.
A
Wow.
new order.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is this like? That's a good question. Like, what is this just like just to be there, or is it just building up to, a trilogy, or is it a trilogy that's going to be?
Well, and that's another angle. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm hoping it's not a trilogy as much as it's a launch point for the future of Star Wars,
Yeah.
because we're like rehashing all the stuff that occurs between. We know how it ends with the First Order and all of that stuff, and we're seeing all the stuff that occurs in between, which is great. And then we're going backwards with the Acolyte and
Oh yeah, I forgot about
this
that.
Yeah.
this movie about the first Jedi, whatever. But it's like Star Wars has always kind of gotten stuck. It's like you can't move past Skywalkers,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's like, even though she has the last name Skywalker, it's like in a sense we're moving beyond that,
Yeah.
and I want to see like what that world becomes.
I agree with you. There is a concern from me though that they're going to try to do too much at one time. And what I mean by that is they're either going to they're going to try to do the past and the future at the same time.
Mm.
And that to me is going to worry me because it might be confusing for like the layman audience where it's hard to keep track of. So here's my question to you gentlemen is if you had your pick, would you rather have some of this High Republic, Old Republic stuff or even First Jedi like way back then, or would you rather have totally fresh, hasn't been touched yet, New Horizons?
Fresh New Horizons.
I think that they're both fresh New Horizons, and let me explain why.
You can't loophole around.
Yeah,
this, so.
yeah. You gotta pick one.
No. This is actually like a thought that I've had as they've been talking about how they're, and I don't know if you guys saw the chart they put out was showing the icons
yes.
for all the eras they're touching on. We know that the Jedi by the time of the New Republic were weak and just arrogant, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But we see in both canon and legends a lot of crazy things that happened that like the old Jedi could do and did that are just kind of forgotten or lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you've got someone like Rey who's got no ties, no history, who's building, I think that we might see a lot of parallels there between the old and the new because there isn't this existing baggage.
Sure.
So I think that I think that both of them are going to equally carve out more like a greater understanding of the Force and where the universe is going to go.
Well, like, don't get me wrong here. Like, I'm not asking to not get both. I want both. My concern is for the general audiences out there, will this get confusing as far as keeping track of when and where? And
I don't think it'll get confusing. I think they've been doing a good job of explaining and marketing it well, which not everybody does. DC not doing a great job of marketing and explaining their movies. Like, wait, is this connected? What? Hey, no,
facts.
Is this canon? Star Wars has been very good at explicitly saying when movies occur and what it's connected to, and I think that they have learned from the mistakes of other people. Being like, yeah, we got to make sure all of this stuff is clear and easy to understand, because your average moviegoer isn't going to be like, I've read 400 Star Wars.
All right, well then, gun to the head, Justin. What would you rather have then?
Yeah.
You have to pick.
I will die.
All right.
Which one would you rather have?
That's fine.
You said you'd rather have. I mean, well, you got to pick one.
It really is tough. It is because I would love to see this like Old Republic stuff because it truly is a very intriguing time, but at the same time, fresh.
I want to. Yeah.
Okay, if I had to choose what came first, I would choose to go back to the old stuff. Let's clear the air. Let's see how the Jedi got to such a place to where they had so much hubris. I'd rather see that first. I think it would actually paint a clearer picture of why what happened in the prequels, and would add, just like what Filoni's been doing, would add greater depth to the prequels, and so that's I think that.
Okay.
I think that.
Valid.
But I still want Rey and all that because I think that would be a fun avenue. Okay, so anyways, all right, guys. Well, that being said, we got to move the show along because we are already hitting quite a bit of time, but that's okay because we do what we want. It's our own podcast. So, but we'll be right back to get into some reviews and previews for the future. We'll be right back. Thank you all for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a rating on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at AlwaysMorePod.
If you'd like to ask us a question for us to answer on the pod, you can email us at alwaysmorepodcast@gmail.com, or you can call us on our Always More hotline and leave a voicemail question at 254-218-4042.
You can also follow all of our social medias individually and as the Always More podcast. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from that short break. We're here to talk about some reviews, some things that we watched and checked out, and things we want to recommend or not recommend for you to watch. But I mean, let's be honest. We're all nerds here. We like to watch things. But I will be completely honest. The first thing that we're going to talk about today is a movie that I just was not super interested in for two reasons. Number one, I like Shazam. He's fine as a character. Like, he's cool. It's whatever. But
He's a great character.
Sure. Given what the state of the DC universe is right now, though, even with the Flash, it's hard for me to be like super interested because, especially with Shazam, I'm probably not going to see this character again, or at least not in this state.
Yeah.
And this story is not going to. It's like in a way, it's how Marvel has to be careful with this whole multiverse thing because, like, how are we supposed to care about certain stories if it doesn't matter? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if some of these stories just end up not making a big deal in the end of things. Right. So anyways, our first thing that we're talking about today is Shazam, and it's a movie.
It's a movie that me and Justin, I don't know, I probably won't see it. I didn't really enjoy. I mean, the first one was funny.
I got through about 3/4 of it last night, and then I fell asleep, and so I was trying to catch up with it.
That's telling me something right there.
Well, I mean, it was late, and I'm waking up early this day, so it's not a huge indicator. Yeah. But I was telling before we started recording, like it was fine. Like, critics are not going to like this kind of movie, but watching it in the theater, it probably would have been a lot better. I'll say it like that.
Okay.
With some popcorn and a soda kind of thing, but it's fine.
I miss the movies.
Fine.
No.
Forever.
No, just no for you.
Yeah. No. Hard no. Like, the first one, I was like, okay, this might be cool. I might catch it on HBO Max. The trailer for the second one,
it's just not interesting
it made
at all.
Let's put it this way: I would rather watch Ghost Rider again than watch Shazam. And I think Ghost Rider might be my most hated comic book movie.
Oof. Yeah. Look.
Not the first Fantastic, not the first, but the reboot of Fantastic Four. That's,
I might want to watch that more than this.
I haven't watched that one actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was just so bad. I was like, nah, Michael B. Jordan can't save that.
He's good, but
yeah, not that great. Yeah, especially at the time.
Yeah. And that's just the thing when we're talking about DC. I guess the next time we talk about a DC film other than The Flash, wait, we're getting Aquaman 2, aren't we? Holy crap.
When does that movie come out?
I don't know. It's this year, I think.
I forgot.
No one cares about it.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't even been like, no, like, you know how they usually do like first look of Aquaman, like a still or something, or tease, nothing.
Yeah.
It might be because people like, oh, this movie isn't good. We're going to just drop it out to try to get some money back and not really hype it up.
Yeah. Which is wild because, like, I mean, granted, Batwoman is not like this huge character in most of the world, but it's like they dropped that. They totally just canned it. Nothing.
Crazy.
No HBO Max or Max now, what they're calling it. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It comes out in December.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
And I actually really enjoyed the first Aquaman. So
I did too. Yeah.
I never saw it. 'Cause,
Well, that's
DC
not a
movies,
surprise.
so-
You don't watch these DC films.
You said you haven't seen it.
Nope, haven't seen it.
Wow.
You would actually probably like the first one.
Yeah, the first
I
one.
liked
Solid.
it. Yeah, it's not bad.
I do like Jason Momoa as the prop.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move along here. So Shazam, we're probably giving it a thumbs down. Is that what we're doing here today?
Thumbs
yeah.
down.
Okay, thumbs
2
down.
thumbs down.
Season 2 of The Bad Batch. You, my friends, did not watch it, correct?
Correct. That is not an indication as to how I feel about the Bat Batch. It is because I have been busy.
Okay, so as the only person in this group, I don't know about Chris. By the way, I don't know where Chris is. I sent him an invite. He didn't show up. The Bad Batch season
Chris.
2. We love you, Chris.
We love you, brother.
Season 2 was okay, in my personal opinion. I enjoyed the first season, but it wasn't like riveting. You know, with Clone Wars and Rebels, it was such a deeper connection. It went on longer, of course. But you had Jedi involved with it, and you had, Clone Wars is Clone Wars. Like, so even if the episodes that didn't have any Jedi, it's still Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Rebels, it was such a tight knit group. It was hard not to do. And so Bad Batch, it's fun and interesting. Season 2, in my personal opinion, the first half of it was like, okay, it's nice background television. But I'll tell you what, though, they did some spicy things at the end, and I was all here for it. And actually got me really excited for season 3 when they announced it. Okay. So, and actually, I would not be surprised if we see some Bad Batch characters show up somewhere in the Mando universe. I would not be surprised, even though it's some years set apart. Knowing Filoni, who knows?
Possibilities are endless. Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So as the only person here, I'm giving season 2 a thumbs up, even if you watch it in the background. So thumbs up, season 2 of The Bad Batch. All right, let's talk about another show, which is disappointing that you guys have not watched all the way through, and that is The Last of Us. Look, guys, I came up with questions in here to ask you guys about the show, and you guys are only 2-3 episodes in?
Not even started.
No, my God.
Last episode, I said I was 3 episodes deep. Unfortunately, that number has not changed. But to be fair, the number of states I have set foot in that month is 7.
Jeez.
So, I feel like I've got good excuse.
That's a good excuse.
Maybe. All right, well,
Actually, I'm sorry. I lied. It was 6.
6. It's a lot.
It's still a lot. All right, well, I'll say this about The Last of Us. Again, Justin, you've only seen a few episodes, but I do feel like this show was a great example of how you can both keep true to the feeling and the vibes and the atmosphere around a game, while also taking some liberty in changing things for better suited television. Whereas other shows like Halo, I believe, failed, and they tried to create something that did not feel like it was set within the universe of what was originally created. The Last of Us, the show, for the most part, at least kept with the general story direction and everything. And while they even made some good, decent changes, like the character of Bill, and as Ellie's mother, and it truly did still feel like this was they could have made the game out of this show, if that makes sense. Like, it's still interchangeable. Like, they would have made this game the way it is based on the show and vice versa. And so, in my personal opinion, thumbs up. Go watch the shit out of that show, because Pedro Pascal is fantastic.
Yeah, he is.
TV's favorite dad.
Yeah, he's internet's daddy. And shout out also to oh man, I feel bad for not knowing her name off the top of my head. Who plays Ellie? Because she does amazing. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because her name is worthy of mentioning, and I feel bad because I know her from Game of Thrones, but I don't.
It's right there.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey. Yeah, she's great. She's phenomenal. She did really great in Game of Thrones. Did you watch all the way Game of Thrones? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh God, you guys are
I did not.
ridiculous.
So Game of Thrones was the kind of show I was like, man, I see people struggling and suffering. And I did this with Breaking Bad. I waited till it was over to watch it because I didn't want to deal with that kind of tension. And because Game of Thrones ended the way it did, I just never started it.
Fair enough on that. I guess
That's kind of what happened to me. So I had
I will-
intentions, and then it ended the way it did, and everyone's like, "Don't even bother." I was like,
Yeah.
"All right."
Yeah, I got some opinions like that too.
The way this show ended, the season ended, excuse me, of Last of Us, I'm expecting them. If you've played the games, the second game is a lot longer than the first game, and so I would not be surprised if they split the second game into 2 seasons, which I'm all for. More Pedro, more Bella. I'm all for it. So Last of Us, 2 thumbs up for me. And then I wanted to force your thumbs up as well. So
Eventually they'll yeah.
you guys. All right. Well, let's talk about something that we all have watched, and that is The Mandalorian Season 3. This was a wild ride. Let's talk about where do I begin with this show? Let's do overall feelings first. What did we feel going through this show?
So much joy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like I mean, nothing less than that. And I think the way that it ended, I was like, and I know that we'll talk about that in a second, but I just like the peaceful ending, which it wasn't, but the last shot was just,
Right. Home on the range.
it was great. Kids out there playing in the front yard, So I think that was really good. It was just every episode was great to me. There was nothing that was like it went down,
Yeah.
It stayed at a steady pace of just being great. So
I think it's interesting to look at some of the flack that was coming out during the first few episodes. There was a complaint about a general direction. And it's like, did you guys not watch the other seasons and watch
probably not. Or Boba Fett. Those are the people that have not watched Boba Fett.
Well, it's like
not even Boba Fett, man. I think people, and this is a problem that I see with the same thing I see about Marvel Phase 4.
No, that's
People
true.
are like, yo, this isn't going anywhere. They're not doing anything. I'm like, world building takes time.
Yeah.
And not everything has to be this grandiose eternal conflict that's going to lead us to Thanos or Palpatine or whoever. Like,
yeah.
Mandalorians want their planet back, bro. That's that in the story, in the journey, and the personal growth of that. I think it's a story worth telling. And yeah, I'm about to rant. I'm gonna let you go, Tim.
Yes.
Well, that's a great point because it's like, especially if you've watched Clone Wars and Rebels and you've seen the story with Bo-Katan, it truly was like you want them to take their time with it. Like you want to see the character development with Bo-Katan and see how she has regretted these years and how like even in like was it the first episode where you look at her and it's just like she's just totally defeated. Like I've spent all this time, I failed as a leader. Everyone has left me. They're mercenaries and doing their own thing, and I have nothing to live for here. She has failed her people. She has failed her family. She has failed the royalty, and it's truly a fascinating story. And so for people to get upset that it's taking a time to build itself around, well, one, you have to keep in mind, not everyone has seen Rebels and Clone Wars, so they don't know all this. So you do need that time to build up the Mandalore universe a little bit.
Yeah.
So no, I at times I felt like, man, it was more like excitement. Like I'm ready to see more, but the stuff was still valuable and it was still great in the fun moments, especially in episode 6, was it? On whatever that planet was with, spoiler alert, Jack Black and Lizzo. I mean, come on now. Come on now.
Okay, sorry. Let me touch base on that episode because
a lot of people were upset about that.
Some people were upset about the episode, and I was like, here's my thought.
You had never seen Clone Wars.
Not just the Clone Wars. The prequel trilogy had some of the campiest shit ever. And I'm like, if Jack Black and Lizzo are what does it in for you, you should have been done in a long time ago.
Yes,
Because
facts.
it was
facts.
the episode was
So much joy.
funny.
Yes.
Like Din just kicking the droids.
Yes.
And like his gross hatred for droids making him be like so irrational, and Bo-Katan being like, wait, you're what are you doing? Like, what is your problem? All of that just made for a fun, chaotic episode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, and that was the thing. It's like you have to allow room for fun too, like for it not to mean too much. But I mean, there's still some development in there. But it's like even these some episodes that are quote unquote called filler episodes. It's like, so what, man? It's Star Wars. Just
Star
freaking
Wars.
love it,
We don't
man.
care.
Just take it. I will say though, there's one. Here's some nitpicks. Okay, so this is not like me deterring away from it or saying like the whole show was bad. I was disappointed that there was no big Luke reveal moment. Like not Luke himself, but like some other character that was like some big goody or bad person. Like it wasn't like that kind of moment.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I get why, especially the way the show ended.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it would have been cool to have like even Boba Fett back in it, like him help like take back Mandalore. That would have been kind of cool or something.
Yeah.
I
Or
think
Ahsoka
that
popping
Boba
up or
Fett.
something.
Yeah.
I think that Boba Fett would not have been accepted well in the current Mandalorian climate. I mean, maybe a little bit more with them like trying to like bridge the divide between the Watch and the we can take our helmets off people. Um, Side note, shout out Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad as a Mandalorian. But I think that the series, I think it really worked well without having that because Mando season 2, what was after it was over, the thing was Luke showed up, kicked ass, and then left with Grogu, and it was fantastic, you know? And then I think that this episode was really, truly, not episode, the season was really just as much about Bo-Katan as it was about Din and, spoiler alert, Din Grogu.
Yes. I was also slightly disappointed that we didn't have like some kind of kaiju fight between the mythosaur and whatever that creature was in the episode 7, whatever that thing was. Like I wanted to see the Grogu or Din right in the back of the mythosaur taking down this other thing. A little disappointed, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it.
I think the mythosaur is like existing is really just. I really like the way they set that out, where Bo is like this disillusioned, and especially it hits more when you've known her backstory from Clone Wars and Rebels, and she's over everything, and the only reason she even comes to Mandalore is because of Grogu. Like if Din showed up, it's like, let's go to Mandalore, she'd be like, no, but she sees this child, and she's like, yeah, I gotta go help. She shows up, kicks ass, and then Din falls into the waters. Which he wanted to go in the waters. He just went a little too deep. And he sees this mythosaur, this creature whose name implies that it doesn't exist. And she's like, wait. Yeah. Now her whole worldview is shaken. And she starts reevaluating what it means to be a Mandalorian. And she starts to value her people and starts to forgive herself. And she experiences all of this growth over the season because of her interactions with other people. Her isolation was what did her in. Yeah. And I think that having like a big Ahsoka or Luke or some other random character, even a Sabine, would have like taken away from what that was. Yeah. And we saw growth from Grogu too. Like he went from being very aggressive and little force choke baby to being very dodging and pushing and defensive versus like being like, I'm trying to murder you.
No, the droid.
That was the droid part was fantastic.
Yeah. So that being said, because you bring up a great point, especially with the Sabine. So I don't think they've actually announced it, but I'm assuming there's going to be at least one more season 4. That's what I'm assuming here.
Of Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Filoni said that he has no planned in for the show at this point.
Okay. So given that, we left off with Din Grogu. We left off with Din basically going out to saying, all right, we're going to have our own adventures. However, if they keep up with this whole Mandalore thing and the planet and them trying to rebuild everything, they destroyed the Darksaber, which, by the way, felt so much like the end of She-Hulk. It just felt like you know what? Let's troll some of these fans and see what happens. Like, let's see some of these guys just totally get like burnt and just mad. So I have no problem with it. I think it brings up a great, interesting point about the kind of value we place in tradition.
Yeah.
So that being said, if there is, and we're assuming there is, a season 4, where do we think this thing is going?
I think that we would have to see how things play out of Ahsoka to have a better answer of that, because I would not be surprised if we saw more Mando and Grogu appear in Ahsoka.
Yeah. Good point.
Or whatever
agree
else.
with that.
I feel like in between, like whatever else happens, I feel like we're gonna have some more world building that will shape the world beyond where we are. And at the end of Mando, that will inform season 4.
Right. Yeah. Solid point.
Solid.
All right. Well, anything else to say about what we talked about today?
How do we feel about Moff Gideon's fun little Dark Trooper Mando suit?
It's fine. You know, I was more interested in the heroes' journeys and how they got there than I was necessarily the villain. Like, it was exciting to see I'm more excited to see what's going to come because of this whole, what is that? What is the group that we saw in episode 7 called? Or is it season 8 or episode 8? What is that called?
It was all the Imperial remnants.
Right, right. I'm more
I don't
interested
remember
in that than I am with Moff Gideon. I love Moff, don't get me wrong, but I am more excited about that.
Which also Admiral Pelion was in there, which I don't know if any of you guys know who he is.
Oh, that's oh shoot. I know, but I don't know.
I know, yeah.
But what was interesting is if you go back and watch the episode, when Moff Gideon is talking to him, he keeps looking off to the side as if he's looking at somebody. And I'm like, they would do that. Like, Thrawn is there. So he's like, no, Thrawn is there. Thrawn is, because if you read the books, Thrawn likes to observe and not do anything. I'm like, Thrawn is probably just there, just watching to see what people do to better understand them, to understand the people who he has working with him. So I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
Thrawn's probably there with Pelion.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're all excited about Mando. It was a great run, great show. We're excited to see where Filoni takes this movie. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna end this review segment, but don't go anywhere. We're gonna be right back with some future previews and predictions. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. For everyone who is both watching and I guess listening too, I guess you're gonna definitely hear a difference. I definitely failed to record the high quality audio in the first part of that news or the reviews segment, which is fine. We're all fine here. We're still here. We're still having a good time.
Yeah, we are.
You can blame me, or you can blame Chris. He's not here, so we'll just blame Chris.
We'll just blame
Chris's fault. If Chris showed up, he would have remembered
He would have remembered.
the button.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about some previews. This shouldn't take too long. We got a couple. We're not going to discuss everything that's out there because we've already discussed some of it. But let's talk about a few things that are just around the corner or maybe some brand new trailers. So first off, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think that didn't release until after our last episode. So let's talk about it. Across the Spider-Verse. It's a big, bad universe. Isaac, what's his name?
Oscar
There's
Isaac.
just one thing I want to talk about.
There's so many things that I'm so pumped to see in this film. The whole Spider-Man pointing at each other meme coming out in this trailer was fantastic.
Yes.
To like Justin here, I actually don't want to watch any more trailers for this movie because I just want to enjoy it.
Facts.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the trailer.
Well, there you go.
Well,
Like intentionally.
yeah.
I will say also, side note, Oscar Isaac has now been in 3 separate Marvel franchises.
Yeah.
Even though he probably never wants to talk about X-Men
No,
Apocalypse.
he does not.
No. That's
Movie
four of them,
was
right?
so bad.
Because you got X-Men, you got MCU, you got Moon Knight, you have this.
Yep.
Wait, what am I missing? I feel like there's something else.
I only know the 3.
Those are 3, yeah.
Oh, maybe
He was
I'm
in
wrong.
Star Wars. That might be what you're thinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Disney.
Disney.
Yeah, Star Wars. That's what I'm thinking.
I like how they pointed out in the trailer about the Doctor Strange Spider-Man incident. That was pretty cool.
And they used the
we're getting-
comic books number for Earth number for the MCU.
Yeah.
Right. So we're getting Tom Holland, right? That's what we're doing. That's what we're saying here.
I'm assuming. I mean,
We're getting Tom Holland. Come on.
I'd be surprised.
every
if it wasn't
every
a cameo.
Spider-Man's in there, so I mean, I won't be surprised if Toby's there. I won't be surprised Andrew's there either.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Mans, Disney finally got most of them. Not all of them.
The
They're
ones that are
miss-
no longer
yeah,
in contract.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they signed a deal with Sony 2 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember it. It like popped up, and then no one really cared about it because it was like, oh, it's 2 years out because of existing licensing agreements that had to expire. And I think that's what's holding up the remaining Spider-Man movies that are not on there yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're excited. That comes out June, right?
wow,
Or is it May?
June.
It's right around the corner.
June.
I know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because May is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Did they come out with another trailer for that?
They did. We're not going to talk about that because
I don't think I watched. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
I don't want to cry
intentionally.
anymore. I just want to cry when the movie comes out because we know Rocket's
Next
going to
week?
die or something. Yeah. It's next week.
He's not
God,
going to die.
He's going to die.
What if all of
If he
them
dies,
die?
it's your fault.
Okay. Speaking of Marvel, last one that we talk about with the previews is The Marvels. Guys, I'm pumped about this. This is my jam. I loved Miss Marvel. I thought that was a fantastic show. I like the character of Captain Marvel. The first movie was fine, but I do like the character a lot. And then seeing Rambo in this is going to be fantastic.
Yes, love Rambo's suit.
Yeah.
love her
Monica Rambeau is one of my favorite Marvel characters, so I'm hoping they do her justice. But what I'm really looking forward to is the dynamic between Nick Fury and Kamala Khan.
Yeah, we haven't seen that.
That's gonna be fun.
Because Nick Fury's probably going to be like...
Yeah,
gonna be
I have
like,
to deal with
like-
a younger kid. This is probably
Yeah.
the youngest kid. Well,
Yeah,
how was
she's younger than Peter.
yeah?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even
This
think
is the
about that.
youngest kid he'll
Good
have
point.
to deal with. That's gonna be fun.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
Yeah, there's no one else,
I
right?
can't even remember this trailer. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, I kind of. It seems like they just have some sort of issue with when they use their powers. They
Yeah.
switch up.
Yeah, I don't even want to
Switch
get into all
places.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they switch actual bodies
Bodies.
too.
Which will be an interesting way to deal with the fact that both Monica and Carol are insanely powerful,
Yes.
which is the Superman problem, where you get movies like Superman Returns, which are boring because people don't know how to write a great enemy for Superman that's not another Kryptonian.
right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. That was our Marvel section. Let's talk about DC and close this show out. Let's talk about the Flash. I think I mentioned this somewhere towards the beginning of the episode. I am excited for this movie. One, because I do like the Flash, and I do like what the storyline, the premise of it, anyways, with the Flashpoint. But I also like my Supergirl, and I'm excited to see her come in. But that being said, I just don't know what they're going to do after this. It's regarding these characters and regarding, or at least these characters as we know them.
Yeah.
And so I love that we're going to get Supergirl, but I don't want to get too invested with her because I'm like, I may not see her again.
I
Yeah, I
don't
feel
think
that.
we'll see this Supergirl again, and I'm okay with that.
I'm not. Man.
Um,
I'm not. Just let it.
Well, I like the
He just
idea
wants
of-
anything. Tim just wants anything super, man. He just
No,
wants
but,
anything
hey,
super.
we're-
Give
I
me
love
Connor.
Superman.
Give me.
I want a good proper Superman family in the future, and I'm hoping we'll get that with Gunn because he understands. But
Yeah.
I want to see this. Like, if we see the Supergirl only once, I'm great. And I really don't like Ezra Miller's Flash. I've never liked this Barry Allen. It never
Well,
felt like Barry Allen to me.
We know.
Yep.
And considering his
Issues.
legal troubles,
Yep.
and literally Warner Brothers has just been praying he doesn't get into any more trouble before this movie comes out, so they can just quietly dismiss him.
You know, Kevin
Yeah.
locked him up somewhere.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's locked up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It looks great. I don't know. Like comic book wise, like and everything that is happening in it, it just looks fun.
It's definitely pulling from the comics a lot, and I'm here for that.
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get Thomas Wayne, which I am a little saddened by, but because I really want to see that. But other than that, it's fine.
And it looks like, especially from watching this new trailer that I know Justin will not watch.
Which I get.
Yes. It looks like Keaton's Batman's gonna have like a bigger role. Like I don't know. I thought it was just gonna be like a subtle, like, okay, he's gonna help.
No,
he took up like 70% of the trailer.
He's basically the Thomas Wayne of this film, which I'm like, it's fine. I'm not a huge Batman film, so it's like okay, but like I really wanted Thomas Wayne, so I just
what I did notice from I didn't see the trailer because I've been busy all day, but I did see a still with the 2 Flashes in it. And the one Flash was literally wearing a Batman suit that had been painted with Flash colors. And if you look closely, you can actually see that there's a Batman emblem. And it's literally like a Keaton Batman suit with the Flash lightning bolt.
Oh, speaking of the suits,
that's great.
I was like,
that suit shot of all his suits was really cool.
It
was really, that was tough. It was nice.
All right. Well, The Flash comes out this summer. That's going to be fun and exciting, and we're all going to enjoy it. And hopefully James Gunn will build a better universe for this DC characters.
It's a very low bar.
It's true.
I believe in him.
And I think I told Jordan here off air that I am, as frustrating as everything is with Henry Cavill, I am excited that James Gunn is taking on Superman both as director and writer. Director, right? I know for writing for sure.
Is he directing? Yeah, he is, right?
He's writing for sure. And that alone does excite me a lot because, I mean, if there's anyone that can make you care about, if he can make you care about a rabbit, or a raccoon, excuse me, then I think we're okay.
Rabbit's fair.
Rabbit is
fair. We'll call him Rabbit.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, another fun little thing coming out of DC is Blue Beetle. If you know the character, you know the character. If you don't, I think you should just buckle in and get ready for it because it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah. I like the trailer. It looked really fun.
Justin, did you actually watch
the
this?
Suit was pretty cool.
I did watch the Blue Beetle trailer. It did look good.
Yeah.
No, clarification. It was a good trailer. Does that mean the movie's good?
It's true.
I don't know. Trailers have misled me before. Because you know what had a great trailer? At least to me at the time? The second Ghost Rider movie. And now I've brought up both Ghost Rider movies today.
I don't even remember that.
And even the first Ghost Rider movie, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is great. And I saw it and I was like, disappointment, man.
Yeah. Well,
Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Great trailer. That movie, hot garbage. I watched it on an iPod video, actually, the first time I watched it. For anyone who's old enough to remember that.
Was it 80 gig one? Is that the one that you had?
120.
120. Oh, you had the nice one. All right.
Yes, thanks to my ex-girlfriend, who we broke up, and I never gave it back to her.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, good times, good times. All right, guys, that is what we have. Spider-Man, the Marvels, the Flash, Blue Beetle. There's some other things coming around the corner, too. Guardians, of course, comes around. Joker, that's coming.
Wrapped up filming.
Yeah, we'll have that coming up probably. Was that next year they're airing that? A lot of good things to look forward to. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this show, my friends?
No, I'm just happy to be a Spider-Man fan and a Star Wars fan.
It is a good time.
It is a good time to be both. Unless you're reading the Spider-Man comics, we don't have time for my rant on that today.
Okay.
No, we don't. All right, guys. Where can we find you on all the social media stuff? Justin, I'll start with you, man.
I am Justin's Theory everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Xbox Live, PlayStation.
Everything.
And I am Jordan CRTV everything except Xbox Live.
All right, and you can find me on everything at Timothy Lichty. That's LIECHTY. Guys, thank you again for listening and for being a part of this nerdy conversation. And remember, there's always more than this. Bye, everybody. See you next time. Bye.